We only made it about halfway through, but we talked a little bit about the book. Everybody say hi!
All right, well, you've got the link, so if you want to email it out to everyone, you're more than welcome to do that so they can watch the whole thing, because I hate to have them only have half of that list. So you're welcome to do that with the link. Hi, everyone.
Hi! So, Howard, we just came off of a pretty emotional panel.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay.
We heard you. We need to wait.
Maybe you want to go just microphone?
You there?
No, babe, that's you.
Yep. Yeah.
Where are you?
Okay.
No.
Sorry. So we just came off of a pretty emotional panel. We were talking about just some of the struggles that we go through in life, and I thought it would have been a perfect segue for you because you know, you're all about I am, the power of discovering who you really are, and so.
Yeah. So remember what those struggles are. Those struggles are challenges for us, an opportunity for us to demonstrate who we are to the universe in the way that we respond to those challenges. We don't have a lot of control sometimes with what happens to us, but we do have 100% control in how we respond to it. And that response of ours tells the universe who we are in that moment, whether we have fear or whether we have faith. And if we're demonstrating faith because we believe we're going to get through it no matter what, rather than fear, the universe does recognize that. It is a very elegant universe. So it does recognize that, and it might not show you immediately in a response, but I hate to use the word guarantee, but I can assure you that if you continue with that sort of faith in demonstrating that you believe you can get through those challenges, eventually you will be astonished at the way life responds back to you in what happens for you after that. So I believe challenges are great opportunities for each one of us to take that opportunity to demonstrate that this is who you are, that you're not going to let fear overcome you, that you're going to let faith take over and let the rest unfold for itself. And if you got through half of the video, you can see that I talk a lot about infinite possibility, because that is the truth for each one of you, is infinite possibility. Now, how much of that infinite possibility you will allow in for yourself, in what you create for yourself, is up to each one of you to decide. But nonetheless, that truth is infinite possibility. So, for example, with what's going on right now, look at what Sarah and Josh have created. Ask them where they were 5 years ago. I don't know if you got to that part in the video, but you can see what a belief of mine creates when you believe in something and you put your head down and you just go straight forward to create it. There might be challenges along the way, but eventually you get to where you want to go. So when we remember that, no matter what challenge we face in life, we can remember that we always have that opportunity to get through it. You guys have put yourself in this room for a reason. You've put yourself in front of the opportunity with It Works for a reason, and the platform they give you, the products, the support, everything you have to create it in an unlimited way for yourself is all in front of you. So my message to you is that you are worth whatever you dream about. So don't ever limit yourself in what you feel worthy of. No one is more worthy than you of creating whatever you want in life. And when you do go forward with your plan, whatever that is, when you notice a hesitation, that's when you have to recognize that that is where a limit is in your mind. So when you hesitate or when there's fear in taking the next step, just know that that's exactly where a limit is for you inside your mind. And so what I would offer you is just when that happens, to simply challenge it. Is what my mind is telling me that is stopping me from taking the next step really true? Is that who I am? Or do I want to experience the more expanded version of myself and trust that if I take that step, I'm going to be okay? Not only are you going to be okay, you're going to thrive, really. And then the mountain that it looked like is going to, when you look back on it, is going to look like a molehill eventually. So that's the process for each one of us. And I'm happy, Sarah, to take questions that anybody has while I'm here live about this process or about moving forward and creating what they want in life.
I think my first one for you would be, you know, we deal a lot with people who struggle with self-limiting beliefs. So, and I know that there's a lot of people here. We're just about to go into our mindset panel, so this is perfect. But maybe what would you say to those who are sitting here right now and they don't feel worthy and they're beating themselves up over the things that have happened in their past?
So, two things. You're not who you were in any past moment. You're not who you were 10 years ago, 3 years ago, or 5 minutes ago. You're who you choose to be right now. That's number one. Number two, and by the way, who you were was perfect for that moment. Now, I'm not saying you want to experience that again, but it was perfect in its place for that moment. But you really get to choose who you want to be in this moment. And that's where, the limits can come down, when you realize that every single moment you have a clean slate to determine what your I ams are. So that's a big part of it. The second thing I would say is, when a limiting belief comes up, when you feel like, I'm going to make these 10 calls, and all of a sudden you don't do it, and your mind says, well, they're going to say no to me. Ask yourself, is that really true? Or you're going to say, oh, they're not going to believe me, or they're not going to like what I have to say. Ask yourself, is that really true? Look at some of the amazing things that people in this company have done because they believed in themselves. Mm-hmm. There isn't anybody who's achieved anything in this universe that is more worthy than you are. And if you feel that, that's truly a falsehood. You're just as worthy as anybody out there. I don't care what you've gone through in your life, what you've experienced, you are equally as worthy as anybody out there. So remember that. Remember that your worth is equal to anybody on the planet, and that might help you, empower you to say, you know what, I am going to make these 10 calls. And if everybody says no, so what? Who cares? I'll make another 10. It doesn't matter, because it can't affect your opinion of who you are.
What would you say would be like one of the first steps that somebody should take when they're healing and trying to come up with their I am statement? Because this is kind of it's a new thing for a lot of people in this room, the phrase I am, and I'm not sure that everyone gets it.
So I don't know if you got to the part in the video. I have an I am worksheet that is on my website. If you sign up, upon sign up when you get the return email, it'll send you a free download of the worksheet. And what the worksheet does is it allows you to state, this is what I want to create, a very specific intention. And it's really important that with your intentions, you get really focused about what it is, because the universe responds pretty exactly to what your intentions are. Once you have the intentions, then you write down 5 statements about who you are that would tell the universe or tell yourself that this is who you are, that matches with what you want to create. So if you say, I want to hit a certain level in the company, how much product would you have to sell? How many phone calls would you have to make? How many people would you have to get into your network in order to create that? You create I am statements that validate the actions you would take that would produce the conditions that would create it. This is very laid out in that worksheet. But basically what you're saying is, I am worthy of that kind of success. And then you write 5 actions that would validate that statement that you're worthy. Well, how do you show yourself that you're worthy? Well, you get on the phone, you make the calls, or you do the advertising, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And this is the same, by the way, for your health, for your personal relationships, or for any part of your life. So you use an I am statement to declare the new version of yourself that you're stepping into. And then the worksheet kind of helps you because it shows you whether or not you are creating the actions that then validate those I am statements. And one other thing I'll say about an I am statement, it's the only thing that the universe is truly responding to. The universe can only give you what you feel worthy of your own self. So if you don't, you have to discover why, and you have to challenge that old negative I am statement and change it to a positive one. Because once you demonstrate that, the universe will respond. And what I mean by respond is, people will treat you differently. Coincidences will happen that may have never happened before in your life. But it's because you have started to treat yourself differently on the inside that the outer world is then treating you differently on the outside. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm taking notes.
Okay.
you know, the last panel that we just heard, I think, left everybody a little bit mind blown. So it was a perfect segue coming in to talk to you. What do you guys want to know from Howard? All over, babes. Take a question or two based on I am, creating your I am statement. No?
Too many yellows.
Yeah, they're crickets right now, which means their wheels are turning.
That's okay. I mean, it's a lot of information to take in, so it can quiet the mind.
I'll just go ahead, just because I know a lot of people in this company, in our journey with this business, is we all get stuck. And I don't know if I'm going on the right track, but I just feel like a lot of people need that one thing that goes, okay, whether it's a comfortable or you're just stuck because you don't know how to move forward, what would you say to them? Like, what tips would you give to them?
Okay, so instead of saying we all get stuck, I would say you all have been stuck in the past.
Okay.
That's a different idea and belief of mine than I am stuck. What you don't want to say is I get stuck or I am stuck, because that is a belief, and again, your beliefs then search for their realization in reality. So what you want to say is, I have been stuck. That's different because it opens this moment up to a new possibility. So once you make just that subtle shift, then your mind can start to work with you to produce a different experience. So you might have some creativity that comes into your mind about some things you can do that you never thought of before, because the belief was holding you back that you were stuck. And so you kept creating stuckness. So that's one tip as to how to open your mind so that creativity can flow more, so that you can start to go, oh, you know what, I never thought of that. That's a great idea. I'm going to go over to that place and I'm going to introduce myself and see if they might be interested in talking to me with all the people they know about coming into the company, or about listening to what our products are. I mean, stuff that your mind had never entertained before, all of a sudden, you don't see a barrier to do it anymore. You say, why not? I'll go try that, and I'll go in with a great attitude. So it's important to remember, or not to remember, but to become conscious of what story tumbles out of your mouth about your situation, because that'll reveal where your thoughts are and your truth lies about your situation. Remember, the truth is always infinite possibility for you in the next moment, no matter what you've experienced. And this is truly, it really is the key to everything, because if you don't believe it possible, you can't create it. So you have to truly believe it's possible. And if you don't believe it's possible, you at least have to become conscious and discover why you don't believe it's possible, so that you can challenge those thoughts. Again, the idea is to change the way you think about the world and about yourself, because that's what ends up changing the outcome for you. It sounds so simple when I say it, and I know a lot of times it maybe can seem difficult to implement, but it really truly is that simple. We can tend, or in the past we may have made it hard because it's unknown territory. Who will I be if I start making 5 times the money that I made? Who will I be if I start becoming more outward with my personality versus quiet and subtle? How are people going to respond to me? So, and the mind tends to go to the worst case scenario. So the idea is to go to the best case scenario, or at least all scenarios, so that it will help encourage you to move forward. Again, the key thing for all of you in here, in this room right now, is there's anybody that isn't worth it.
Where do you start?
Well, you've already started, because you're sitting right here in this room right now. So,
talk to Howard.
Well, I do private sessions, so anybody's welcome to call me if they're interested. And by the way, maybe this is a good time to mention that for anybody in the room, if you call and you just mention Josh and Sarah, I will do something unique. The sessions I do are 45 to 50 minutes on Skype or over the phone or in person. They're very powerful, and they're very profound and life-changing, and they include a week of follow-up. They're usually $250 for the session. If anybody's interested, I'll do it at 40% off, or $150 if anybody in the room wants to do a private with me. So just so you know, if anybody wants to do that, if you call on my website or if you call the number, just mention Josh and Sarah if anybody's interested. But you've already started, because you're putting yourself in front of new information, and you're putting yourself around people that started with nothing and created all this. So the universe is showing you what's possible, because you've been asking in your private moments, hey, how do I do this? Or how do I achieve this in my life? And then now the universe is flooding you with the information, which is really cool how that works. It's very divine.
Awesome. One more. Right here. Behind you. Yep.
My question would be, how do you encourage your team? If you're going to say I am, you could, instead of saying that, I am broke, I don't want to go as far as saying I am a millionaire. How do you set your, goals or statements? My first year in the business, I really didn't go anywhere. I was a distributor, got to executive, kind of was down. I really believed in this philosophy, and that around Green Carpet October last year, I just said, I'm going to just keep going with 30 seconds of extreme courage and approach people. And I've gone to Double Diamond by now. I don't want everybody to think they can or can't do that. How would you set your goals?
So that's great. So every person's unique. Every individual is unique, and we have to respect everybody's pace to whatever they want to achieve. So I think it's very personal. For you, saying I'm a millionaire was just too big to bite off at that time, and it just seemed like too big of a mountain. For any of you guys who've gone hiking before, if you hiked a mountain or a big hill, it doesn't help you to look at the top, right? It just helps you to look at your feet in front of you and keep taking steps, or talking with the person you're hiking with. And then all of a sudden you stop and you look around and you go, wow, look at how far we've come. So, I didn't even realize it because we were just talking. So the idea is to set your I am statements into something that you can believe that is just beyond your limitation. And then allow yourself to keep working at it, and just keep your head down and keep going. And before you know it, it will appear. It will come together. And you'll be like, because it takes persistence. The universe has to vet you out. It has to vet you out, because that's the only way it knows that what you say about yourself is true, because you've demonstrated it with persistence.
All right. So my question is, I guess, for me, in a perfect example, for my team, and I say you are diamond, and they get a $10,000 bonus. It's great. Any advice for somebody if I say you are diamond, you gotta believe it? They get super, super close and they miss it. They miss a $10,000 bonus. How do you reset your goal? Because you're still going for that diamond, but change the mindset.
That's really interesting that's really interesting how close they get and then don't get there, right? So you can't force somebody into that. It has to come through true inspiration. So to inspire them is just to tell them more of the truth of who they are. So when someone says, boy, I get close, I just can't seem to get there. Okay, you gotta catch that. That's a lie. That's not true. They haven't gotten there yet. So watch when team members or anybody you're talking to tries to consecrate something to the present moment that hasn't happened yet. It's always past tense. I haven't been able to get there yet. So that's what you say to them. But that doesn't mean in the next moment you can't get there. You can. And you will if you truly believe that about yourself. So tell me why you don't believe that. Why wouldn't you believe that about yourself? And then eventually some sort of idea comes up and says, well, I've never been really good at talking to people. Okay, that's past tense. But maybe in the next moment that can all change. That's the whole point of transformation, stretching yourself, and growing, which is what everything you're doing in this company is about. It's about continuously challenging yourself to stretch.
I love it, Howard. We're going to take one more question right back here. Oh, can I hold it? Why?
My question is about the mindset of saying I am going to promote or I am going to be a millionaire. A lot of times I've come across that success really scares the crap out of people, and ultimately that's what holds them back. So you can say I am, but internally that success eats at them and will stop them. What are your thoughts on fixing that?
Okay, so you can't fool the universe. You just can't do it. Your truth is known all the time, but you can change your truth. So the key to changing your truth is to question why anybody or anything that you want or anybody else is more worthy than you are. Whatever reason you come up with is not true. It may have been true for 20 years of your life, but it can change in this minute. The minute that you say, you know what, I am worthy, and I'm tired of thinking of reasons why I'm not worthy. I'm tired of being held back. I believe I'm just as worthy as anybody else out there. So I'm going to go and I'm going to create it. Now, time is part of the process, because what time allows for is the conditions to come together. So the minute you say, I am a millionaire, or I am going to be a millionaire, you have to trust and have faith in the process that eventually you'll get there. But just like saying, I'm going to climb Mount Everest, right, versus some small molehill, in your town. There's a different process to get to the top of Everest than there is to climb this molehill. So you have to respect that the time it takes for conditions to come together. But never ever question the fact that it will happen. And that's what keeps you going without stopping. Because you just believe and you keep going, and before you know it, it's diamond, double diamond, whatever the next levels are that you're getting to, and before you know it, you're there. But you have to keep challenging the thoughts at each point of fear or hesitation in order to transform and get through them.
Awesome, thank you.
But but again, I'm going to repeat this because it sounds like I keep saying this over and over, but no matter how much you resist or have resisted at certain points of your life, there's anybody in that room that isn't worthy of anything they dream about. It's just, what are you willing to do, and how persistent and how faithful are you going to be in the process to ultimately get you there? It's very exciting, actually.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, we've got Howard's books here. We have Time in a Bottle and I Am. You can pick up both of these on Amazon or at the bookstore. Howard, we so appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking time out. I know you're moving your daughter into her dorm room today, so it means a lot that you took this time to be here with us. And you never failed to bring us an aha moment. You're just what we needed to hear, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Josh, thanks for having me on, and the best to all of you on your journey, okay? Thanks, guys. Very much.
Thanks, Howard.